Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this really quick author interview. I am here with Marilyn Alcorn, and she is shooting an episode of Daily Spark TV with me today. But I wanted to kind of get some behind the scenes and talk about her books. She is the author of 2 books, Adrian's Revenge and U-Turn to Paradise. I love the title of that book. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, Marilyn.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Dr. Angela, for having me here.
So I want to ask you, what made you decide that you wanted to add author to your list of things that you do?
I'm not quite sure. I have to kind of go way back a little bit to 40 odd years ago when I worked on the Golden Gate Bridge. And I was there at that time I was in construction, and I was a bridge painter.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, and my favorite writer is Stephen King. He's somewhat still my favorite writer. But, and he wrote a book called The Fog. And they're working on the Golden Gate Bridge. We have generally fog every morning,
Right.
every day. So as I was in a construction crew for painters, and before the painters could paint, we had to wait for the fog to lift and clear. It was during that time I got to thinking, all this fog and all this clearing, and Stephen King wrote a book about the fog. I could probably write a book like that, It may not be about the fog, but I could do that. And one thing led to another, and I ended up starting a book called Adrian's Revenge. Well, little did I know about God's providence, because God was working on me at the time, and I had no clue. And fast forward 40 years later, after Adrian's Revenge was finished, I was reading another book, another author, admiring another author's work, and it was called Heaven. And it was by Randy Alcorn, same last name, but no relation that I know of. And in reading Randy's book about heaven, it was all based on the biblical definition, what God said in His Word and promised in His Word about what heaven would be like, what paradise would be like. Some even call it Eden, the New Jerusalem, just a lot of different names. And I was so inspired. It's just like God's providence, the Holy Spirit, just whoosh. And it dawned on me, nobody is writing about those who believe, or believers, or nobody's talking about or writing about how we prepare to get to heaven. They talk about this last trip we're going to be taking, but as believers, but nobody tells us how to prepare. And that's when the thought hit me, I should talk about how we can turn our lives around. Because the average everyday person, reading that book, was not prepared for heaven. If God had come back right then and there, I would have been,
5 more minutes, please.
I think I got left behind. Come on, give me 5 minutes, anything, but not right now. And I got to realizing the Lord's Spirit let me know that people need to know, my people need to know what it takes. And what it does take is to change our attitudes, our character. Some of us have had really sour spirits. We've got to let go of the sourness and embrace the goodness in life, the gentleness, the kindness. I tell you, it was all there, and it's in Galatians 5:21 and 22, about what God calls the fruits of the Spirit. Those are the clothing. I related in the one book, U-Turn to Paradise, about the clothing one should wear. Put on your character of love. Put on your character of peace. Pack those bags. Bring in all of that stuff and wear it, not just one day. Not when we think the Lord is coming, but day by day, by all day long.
I love
Because
it.
I'm sure you can relate that at any given moment in traffic,
Yeah.
some other outfit might be on other than tenderness and kindness. And so that's what kind of inspired me to put those books together, and how my life kind of turned around. It was making that big wide U-turn, unbeknownst to me, and I thank God for that.
I love it.
You know.
I love it. And last question for you. For anyone who wants to pick up a copy of your book, how should they do that?
Well, the books are readily available online, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon.com, WestbowPress.com, and I even have my own website, MarilynAlcorn.com.
Alrighty.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for spending some behind the scenes time with
You're
me today,
welcome,
Marilyn.
Dr. Angela.
And I hope that you have enjoyed. We'll see you later. Bye.